I haven't talked about it much on this channel, but I think it's time to make a video on what could be one of the most consequential shifts in music history: artificial intelligence.
I don't think I've been alone in feeling this sense of panic and dismay and distress at the state of music, specifically AI music.
In this video, I'm going to painstakingly argue what should be obvious by vibes alone. And that is, all of this is bad. Commercial generative AI is bad in ways which are different from other disruptive music technologies of the past.
And perhaps the biggest takeaway from noticing this is not simply that, oh, I can't believe they're using an AI-generated playlist, that's insane, what a ridiculous, horrible thing. No, my biggest takeaway was, nobody cares.
So that's my long-winded ramblings on AI.
Scrolling through social media and YouTube, you will find countless videos of artists speaking out about the danger and toxicity of AI for the arts. But what if they got it wrong? What if I got it wrong? What if AI was actually saving art? Okay, so if you already know me, you would know that I have been speaking out against AI used in creative industries for months. But, well, I also learned that only stupid people don't change their mind. So I tried to look on how I could change my mind on it, and surprisingly, I did. AI might have actually saved art. However, it isn't because of what people think. The mainstream argument used to say that AI is a positive thing for art is AI tools help creators to create art easier, faster, and a lot cheaper than before, bringing easier access to create even better things, and removing the actual gatekeepers of the industry. However, this argument is highly fallacious, and let me explain why. These AI creative tools don't make it easier and cheaper to create. It gives the opportunity to anyone to create anything they want, anytime, and at any rate. And that is essentially the issue. Although it would be easy to understand how this phenomenon would destroy any industry, well, before we can see the real positive aspect I found of AI, we need to look at what it has destroyed first. Firstly, there is the most talked about one, the economics. Okay, so although creators might spend less money and time to create thanks to those tools, it is also obvious that it is a lot harder to get paid creating art, as someone else will be using those exact same tools to create instead of asking you for your services. This is simple math. If you use AI tools, then you are probably not paying someone else for doing that work. And well, this works both ways. Although we say that all the new technology has already had this effect on employment in the past, and we can obviously think of the internet, for example, and its impact on the jobs of millions of people when it became a thing, the difference here, which we have to keep in mind, is that AI does destroy a lot more jobs than it could ever create, and at a very fast rate, leading us towards a general unemployment crisis. And us, creative people, are simply some of the first jobs concerned. But I personally think, sadly, not the last ones. The internet took about a decade after its introduction to be at the center of the work environment. AI only took 2 years to be called essential to some industries. Needless to say, that with the current way things are going in the art industry, living from being a professional musician or artist in general will become increasingly difficult. Not impossible, but more and more difficult as time goes on, no matter how cheap the access to those creative tools is. AI will not destroy every single job within the industry, and some of those professionals will remain relevant, of course, to a certain level. But the fact that there will be even less money within the industry than before means that inevitably the industry will shrink, while big corporation behind this new tech, as well as anyone cooperating with them, such as major labels and streaming platforms, will get richer. The payroll is not the only thing that will get destroyed either. It also destroys the revenue from royalties. AI music is now played in most shops and restaurants to avoid paying royalties, for example, and AI music on streaming platforms are quickly becoming the majority of streams generated, meaning that real artists have even less money with streaming than before. This is not to mention that the concept of intellectual property is slowly fading away, as let's remember that all the income generated by these creative AI softwares going to millionaires today is based on theft, as they never paid nor got the permission to use this art to train their AI. But on a more fundamental point, AI music is bringing a lot of questions on the concept of intellectual properties and payment around it that you might not have even thought about. For example, if someone prompts for an AI cover of a human-made song, everyone agrees that royalties will go to the human artist who created the original song. Good. Now, what if a human covers an AI song? Who is paid for it? And well, for what? A prompt? A creative technology? And then, how do you prove that a song is AI generated or not? Currently, we can still roughly guess when it is AI generated, and streaming platforms are developing tools to recognize music made with AI on their platforms, but this is getting increasingly difficult. Bandcamp, who has now banned AI music from their platform, said that they ask people to flag the AI generated music so that they can remove it. So they basically rely on public denunciation and reporting as a way of knowing if something is AI or not. There is no officially coded objective way of knowing if a creation is AI, partially or fully, by the way, and it purely relies on the public opinion at the moment. I am also not mentioning that this denunciation system on Bandcamp can cause other issues to real artists. We already saw cases of artists having their account on streaming platforms removed as they were wrongly flagged as using bots to generate streams. So I could see a potential of hurting real artists with false or wrong denunciations. And then, how will an artist prove that their creations are not AI generated? And that is about the fully AI creations, not the hybrid situations, which are a lot less talked about. When I hear some lawyers stating the copyright laws around AI and its creations, it seems so obsolete to me, as AI shambled the whole system that these laws are based on, which is a world in which only humans can create art at a normal human pace, which is no longer the case. And yes, it does change everything, as we are not constantly faced with situations found improbable until now, both on a technological point of view and philosophical point of view. But we will see that sadly, this is only the tip of the iceberg, as well, there is a lot worse than everything I have just mentioned. Think about it. If anyone can create anything, anytime, and at any rate, then isn't art losing its value and its relevance? The fact that art was not easily accessible to everyone gave it its value, and it was based on difficult skills to master, only brought to oneself by long-term practice, dedication, discipline, and determination. And some will also use the word talent, although I don't really like that word so much. But it also acted as a quality control and prevented the overflow of low-quality art to submerge the high-quality one. Yes, we probably missed on thousands of amazing ideas because some artists didn't have easy access to creating art. But AI is not the answer to solving this issue. It is not by creating tools that remove the effort and merit out of something that we will make it easier to access. As a side note, what would solve this issue is the education and awareness of what art is and its importance and its power, in order to inspire people to pursue it and understand it and decode it and, well, value it for its true worth and importance to society, and also on an individual level, of course. On the contrary, these tools are now causing the rare good ideas to be lost within a tsunami of slop, preventing people from getting access to the good and genuine creations. And that slop is not only found on social media shorts. AI music slop is now constantly being uploaded on your favorite artist's streaming page. Because yes, in today's world, anyone can create any music and then upload it on any streaming platform profile pretending to be any artist in order to get the streams from their listeners. And we find this normal, and nothing gets done about this. Although it is easily spotted and taken down by either the artist or the label, by the time it gets taken down, the song already generated some streams and therefore some revenue that goes to the person who uploaded the song, not the artist on whose page it was uploaded. This easily created slop music is basically a new type of spamming. My band, Crimson Veil, has to constantly take down fake music from fake artists from our official streaming profiles, and I have seen many artists I listen to being victim of a similar scam. Streaming platforms could do something about it, but right now they have no incentive to do so. Long format YouTube videos scripted and made with AI are also being uploaded on some channels, regurgitating AI prompted essays full of inaccuracies and lies and making hundreds of thousands of more views than this video. But also books. While some politicians managed to write an entire book within 10 days spent in prison, makes you wonder, and release it within weeks, other books generated by AI included false facts about dangerous mushrooms, for example. So when will you know when the book is AI generated or genuine now? And when can it be trusted? By removing the merit and effort attached to the creative process, then you'd reduce art to a soulless, empty of sense entertainment to distract its consumers. But most importantly, you welcome any nonsensical content made purely for profit to submerge all art forms. without any gateway such as a creative skill and the duration and effort of a creative process, and by removing the certainty of the genuinity and authenticity of a creation, but also by allowing creation with no name and therefore no accountability to be created, then you destroy the trust and, most importantly, the relevance of any artist, genuine or not. This iceberg of questions around intellectual property and relevance of art is only one of the consequences of the fact that AI is revolutionizing the concept of art itself. While some believe that AI can create art, others insist that it is exclusive to the human experience and that AI creations are only mimicking art. So we can see that this technology is now making us question what art actually is, where it starts, where it ends, and what its real purpose is. And while we seem to make easy assumptions for the 100% AI and the 100% human-made creations, the debate becomes a lot more complex when we start discussing hybrid creations. If an AI tool covers a human song, is it art? What if an AI tool performs the vocals on a human-made song? Or what if it has simply been mixed and mastered by AI? What if the lyrics are AI-inspired? Or, on the other hand, what if AI creates music based on human-made lyrics? What if a human performs, records, and masters an AI-generated song? And what if a human just alters its form a little bit? What is art amongst all of this, and what isn't, and why? Let's say you have full answers to all these questions I have just raised. Well then, if your favorite artist generates an AI song, performs it, and releases it without you knowing it is AI, would you consider it art, and then when you find out, would it change? How would anyone prove that their creation is not AI, even partially generated, and then modified to look human-made and get profit from it? I mean, how do we even know that this is not the case yet? I hate asking myself these questions. It feels wrong on so many levels to question these things about something as powerful and as pure as art. And so, what if these questions were the symptoms of something much deeper? What if these were the symptoms of a philosophical death of art? Nietzsche said in his lifetime, God is dead. Well, I feel like now everything human is slowly dying too. I mean, if we have to question the fundamental nature of something and not agree on it due to a new technology, then hasn't that technology somehow transformed and maybe sabotaged that concept to its core? Or is it helping us forget its real nature, maybe? And if so, how much are we losing from this? Will the power of art remain despite this, or are we witnessing its murder? I am well aware that I might go a bit far in my reflection here, but somehow this question seemed relevant to include in this chapter, to show just how far this really goes, or could go, if we leave it unchecked. So obviously, I have always been outspokenly against the use of AI in artistic creations. And so when I was looking for solutions to save whatever we had left of the industry, I first thought, of the option of anti-AI platforms, such as a social media, radio station, streaming platform. And in fact, some labels and radio stations and other platforms have spoken out and affirmed that they would stay free of AI. No later than last month, Bandcamp made the bold statement of prohibiting AI creations from their platform, which made the news everywhere within the music industry. However, although I 100% back these initiatives, which show that broadly a big part of the industry is strongly against this new technology, whether they could financially benefit from it or not, and it does value human art above all kind of profit, as it is totally against the capital gain for Bandcamp or those labels to do what they do. I realized that as it is now, it would be next to impossible to prove what is AI and what isn't, and most importantly, what is hybrid. Although it is easy enough to spot a fully AI artist with their lack of live music presence and by uploading new music every week, when it takes at least a year for a prolific artist to release an album with a decent quality. As we saw earlier, it will be a lot harder to know when a human artist uses AI to create their music and how much they are using it and where to put the line on, is this okay? In an interview, will.i.am talked about this phenomenon, which I 100% agree with.
In 10 years' time, are we listening to more AI-created music than human-created music? How do you think about that?
You like fruit.
Yeah?
You go to the supermarket, do you say, hey, where's the organic oranges?
Sometimes.
But then you just buy oranges.
Yeah.
So if you're not buying organic oranges, then what the f were those oranges that aren't organic?
Yeah.
And why would you have to call these organic and those just oranges?
Yeah.
If these are organic and that, what are those? Only reason I'm saying that is just processed to the point where you need to identify organic from non. The same would be for music. The same would be for everything.
It'll be on us, the consumer.
When a new technology is introduced, it seems easy to pick and choose items free of this new technology if we are morally against it. But the issue is that its uses start to merge with the rest of the techniques, and it will become less and less common to have 100% human creations soon enough. And the more problematic point is that it will become impossible to prove it. A bit like organic food, there have been countless scandals linked to its practices, as they still use certain chemicals and sometimes don't pass tests, etc. They still use some type of GMOs sometimes, which is against the concept of organic food itself. So you can pay for the option of organic food, but you don't always get something as organic as you think. You need to trust it, and that trust has been broken countless times already. At the end of the day, the only way you can be sure that something is 100% organic is to grow it yourself in your own garden with the seeds that you selected yourself. Well, I think that art is facing the same future. You might have not heard of it, but YouTube has started to use AI to upscale many old videos on their platforms to improve their quality to the current standard, without any of the creators knowing about it. We also saw some versions of old recordings that people pitch corrected or remastered using AI without the artist's acknowledgement or consent. These are only two examples of AI creating hybrid content without the knowledge and written consent of the creator. So we quickly understand that AI will be used more and more to modify human-made content, old and new, with and without the consent of the creators or even their acknowledgement, toughening even more the anti-AI policy people might have in place. This quickly leads us towards the almost certain future of creations online. It will become almost fully hybrid and transhumanist, whether we want it or not. Then I thought that we would simply need to leave the digital world behind altogether, and that everything else would remain AI-free. Everything digital is vowed to go that way? Fine. Then there is still the real world, the analog world, that will remain human-made. And anti-AI people seem to put a lot of faith in live music for the future, for example. But will it stay AI-free? As we saw earlier, AI-generated books have already been published, and how will they know when a book is AI-generated, modified, or hybrid in the future? Some newspapers have already pledged guilty of using AI to generate some articles. Same goes for live music. How will you know if an artist is performing an AI-generated or partially generated song live? As reported by Wings of Pegasus, most people don't even realize that most singers on TVs and on major live performances today use a pitch corrector on the performances. Isn't this hybrid performance? Again, how could anyone know what is AI inspired and fully or partially made, even live? I am also worried that these questions will simply become irrelevant too soon enough. We are not made to ask ourselves, is this real or AI? For everything we see, listen to, watch and read. So soon enough, we will slowly stop caring, as it is simpler this way. I mean, sadly, I can actually see that most of the artists are already there. And so we will slowly fall into this new transhumanist reality imposed upon us, whether we want it or not. So at this point in the video, you're probably thinking, but I thought that this video was about how to become positive about AI. And yeah, I have gone quite deep on how messed up the situation really is. And I probably haven't given you much hope. But this is by going this deep and after months and months of reflection about how everything I have just stated, that I have found the one good aspect about creative generative AI. Yes, there is one. It was not a clickbait. But before I get to it, if you like this video, please make sure you like and subscribe. It really, really helps small new channels like this one. As an artist who has been feeling threatened to be replaced by AI, for the first time ever, I actually found myself forced to reflect on why I chose this job in the first place and why I create. I mean, I knew I liked it, of course, and that if I was persistent enough and work hard enough, then I would be able to earn money from this and this could become my job. But once a soulless technology is threatening to make you obsolete as an artist, despite all of this dedication and passion, I felt like that explanation was not quite enough. Something fell off, not just unfair, but simply wrong. Wrong on a fundamental level. In my thought process and in the countless debates I've had over the past few months, the philosophical question of what is art has never seemed so relevant. AI has shed light on many philosophical questions, in fact, that once we try to answer them with honesty, they seem to show the real nature of those things. This technology seemed to force me to go and look for that fundamental reason that things are the way they are, such as art and art creation especially, and of course, well, why I create and my passion for it. More globally, it helps show many aspects of our society that we took for granted and started to unvalue more and more to finally get to where we are now, having a man-made technology pushed and financed by billionaires with only power and money as interests, threatening to destroy many crucial aspects of our society. We seemed to forget just how precious they were. And so we left them unprotected. In a way, it is a bit like touching the bottom of a pool to help you get back up to the surface and see the real nature of things. We had to be confronted with the destruction of those essential things in life to realize their real nature and importance. What if AI arrived in this world to do just that, in fact? Either get back up to the surface and see the real nature of things, or sink in an illusion, slowly leading us further and further away from the true nature of things and the genuine world. So, what has AI uncovered about art on this ascending journey? Well, firstly, that perfection is not the goal. AI creations have been criticized for being too perfect and therefore dehumanized, bringing the attention and the value of art not on its perfection, but on the contrary, on its soul and its human genuinity. As an artist, I know that it is easy to get lost in this pursuit for perfection, which has stopped many artists from releasing their work and pursuing their passion further. We now obviously see that the genuinity and human imperfection is what makes art greater than anything AI could ever create. Art is meant to represent a part of someone's life experience to other human beings. So, human imperfection is fundamentally at the heart of it. I would even say that the intention of the artist behind a piece is sometimes just as important, if not more important, than the piece of art itself. AI cannot make you laugh and make you dance like humans can, for example. This statement could help many artists go back to genuine work and value their art even more for their imperfections, their own style and way of doing things than for its not perfect enough nature. Secondly, if AI is destroying most economic means of art creation, it also destroys any potential appraisal temptations for creating art. Because it becomes impossible to prove if you really made something yourself or if it's partially AI made, it can remove a great potential of praise for the genuinity of your work. So, real artists wanting to create real art will no longer do it for the money, nor for their ego and fame. We will finally stop creating to please an audience, a manager, a label, or even worse, an algorithm. So, what does this leave us with? Well, the fundamental reason for creating art: ourselves. If all of these incentives have been destroyed by AI, then only the fundamental and pure initial reasons we all create art remain: to communicate something to the world, to leave a little piece of us in this world, to learn, to grow, or simply for our own satisfaction. We will undoubtedly go back to genuine creations made solely for the right reasons. And although the overall situation is a dark place to look at. I had to stare at it this long in order to find this beautiful and exciting, precious thing that seems to remain, which no technology could ever destroy. We are lucky to live in a world in which art creation has never been so accessible, even without AI, of course. And now that we are forced to go back to creating solely for ourselves with true genuinity, there is weirdly nothing that inspires me more to create. I no longer create for others or for success or for money or to make it, as they say. I create simply for myself to live something to the world and make this world a slightly more interesting place than how I found it. I want to grow and improve as a person through this creative process, which is the most beautiful aspect of being human, in my opinion. A bit like these YouTube videos I am making. Whether they make 5 views, 500 or 50,000 views, it's not what's important. The fact that I learn, grow and improve myself while sharing my thoughts with other people somewhere out there, this is the most important part. And in fact, thank you to the ones of you who have watched this video up until the end, and I hope it has inspired you to create even more. Keep creating and stay weird.